Kalabhairava is the Durandar of our times. He is always hiding within you and he has a companion, which is a black dog. They are able to smell death. We will approach the aspect of Kalabhairava as a deity in a much more practical and energetic way. Sadhana should be done for Kalabhairava. Keep this in your mind. The consecration is done without animal sacrifice or violence. It is done more out of… Krishna declares, "I am Kala, the great destroyer of the worlds." Shiva manifested his most fearsome aspect, the Kalabhairava. These 64 Bhairavas and 64 yoginis form a kind of tantric map. At the moment of death, there is still a possibility of… Kalabhairava has the power to compress or expand time. Bhairaviyatana, lifetimes of experiences are just flowing through you in a matter of 40 seconds. You don't have to seek yatana. When I'm here, why are you seeking yatana? I will do it to you in a wonderful way. Namaskaram, welcome to 360. Just be with me. Kalo na janati tava jananam, kalo na janati tava samapanam, drushto maya tava mahakara yogeshwara kala kala, yogeshwara kala kala. In our last episode of Adhika Jyeshta Purnami, we explored Kalabhairava as a concept, one of the fiercest and the most profound manifestations of Shiva. Kalabhairava is often seen as the terrifying one, but not just because he represents dissolution, he is the very embodiment of time itself, constantly moving, unstoppable and beyond human control. Time is relentless and nothing escapes it. In yogic sciences, time or Kala is very foundation through which existence unfolds. Out of absolute stillness comes the movement, and with movement, time and space are born. From there, all creation, life, death and dissolution follows. So Kalabhairava is this force of time in motion, the power that creates, transforms, protects and eventually dissolves all forms. To understand Kalabhairava is to understand the very nature of time, time as the fierce reality that eventually devours all things. In this episode of Jyeshta Purnami, we will approach the aspect of Kalabhairava as a deity, as the very personification of time. Kala underscores his dominion over time and destiny. Kalabhairava, as the master of the cycle of creation and destruction, has the power to compress or expand time for his devotees, allowing them to achieve in moments what might otherwise take lifetimes. He is called Kala Purusha, which means time as a cosmic being or the personified form of time. He represents the inevitable progress of time that brings all things to their ultimate conclusion. He is the force that strips away illusion and pushes the seeker towards the timeless reality beyond death. In this process, he dissolves the fundamental ignorance of a separate self, the persistent sense of me, myself, or I, which is seen as the source of all suffering and the root of our perceived separation from the creation. Krishna gives a magnificent exposition of what we call as Vishwarupa Darshana in the Gita to Arjuna. The vision of Krishna as the divine cosmic form, Arjuna suddenly sees an overwhelming, multi-dimensional manifestation of the entire cosmos contained within Krishna. When he sees this, he is not comforted but terrified. He also sees warriors rushing into Krishna's blazing many mouths, like moths entering fire. He sees entire world being consumed. This is when Krishna declares, "I am Kala, the great destroyer of the worlds." Kalabhairava, simultaneously a protector, a regulator of time, a devourer of ignorance, and guardian of sacred spaces, and above all, a crucial figure in the tantric pathways to liberation. The legend of Kalabhairava's origin goes like this. Between Vishnu and Brahma, an argument arose as who has grasped the entirety of creation. Who knows the creation from end to end? To settle the dispute, Shiva manifested as a colossal pillar of light, a dazzling, endless column that stretched beyond sight, both upward and downward. This pillar pierced all realms and dimensions, defying comprehension. It was decreed that whoever could discover either the top or the bottom of this pillar of light would be recognized as one who knows the full breadth of creation. Well, competition's everywhere. So in search of two ends of this tower of light, Vishnu took the form of a boar. You remember the Varahavatara, he became a boar and dug down to find out where is the bottom end of the column. Brahma rode upon a swan, which was his vehicle, and flew up to see the top end. Both searched for a long period of time. Neither could find any end. Ultimately, Vishnu accepted the truth and returned, humbly admitting his failure. Brahma, however, decided to deceive. While on his upward journey, he encountered Ketaki, a flower. He persuaded the flower to act as a false witness for him, claiming it that he had seen the topmost point of the pillar of light. With Ketaki in hand, he returned, declared victory, presenting flower as proof that he had found the pillar's end. Well, you must understand that human beings have this tendency that somehow they want to win. I have met people who have not actually reached top of Mount Everest, but somehow they got pictures that they got there and they convinced and paid the Sherpas. Everybody said they reached there. And they were covered by all the news channels and newspapers that they actually reached the top of the mountain, but they did not. So similarly, Brahma did not reach the end of the… or the top end of the column of light, but he came down and said, I have, and he also had a witness. As everybody who lies always have a witness, truth usually doesn't have a witness. Originally, Brahma is described as having 4 heads, each facing one of the cardinal directions. These 4 heads represent his ability to perceive and oversee creation in every direction. Symbolically, they can also be understood as the 4 dimensions through which life expresses itself: the physical, the emotional, the mental and the energetic. In this sense, the 4 heads belong to the natural structure of creation. The 5th head, however, is different. It emerges when Brahma's intelligence turns into arrogance and pride. You know, Ravana had 10 heads. That is double of this. Brahma's 5th head represents intelligence that has become intoxicated with itself, creation forgetting its source, and knowledge turning into vanity. By looking upward, Brahma claims to have seen the end of the infinite column of light, the very source from which creation arises. But this is a false claim, because the infinite cannot be measured, contained or seen as an object. To say, I have seen the end of the infinite, is to reduce the boundless into something finite and containable. It's a lie, a fundamental misunderstanding born of vanity. The deeper falsehood is the very idea that Creator can stand apart from the creation. As the source of creation is embodied in every particle of creation, the idea that one can look in a single direction, usually as you know, it's up, and claim to have seen the source is a deception of the mind. It is a kind of falsehood that can multiply into many exploitative processes. The urge to define, process, control and claim authority over what is beyond comprehension, well, a large part of humanity is looking up for the source of creation. When we are on a round planet which spins and we have no clue which is up and which is down in this cosmos, we seem to know what is up or what is down, when we don't even know what is up and down. Shiva, seeing through Brahma's deception and recognizing the deeper arrogance behind it, emerged from the pillar of light. Filled with righteous fury, from this intensity, he manifested his most fearsome aspect, the Kalabhairava. In this terrifying form, Kalabhairava plucked off Brahma's 5th head with his left hand. Bare hands, he plucked his head off and cursed Ketaki to never be fit enough for any kind of worship. Even till today, people do not use Ketaki flower for any worship in India. After he severed Brahma's 5th head, the consequences were immediate and profound. Although the act was necessary, it still transgressed the sacred law. Beheading, a form of extreme violence, had its consequences. This story carries a very important lesson: both the purpose and the means must be pure. This is also why consecration of Kalabhairava at IYC is significant. The consecration is done without animal sacrifice or violence against any life. It is done more out of self-sacrifice of life energies. We will come to that later. Kalabhairava's act was not born out of personal anger, hatred or violence. It was necessary for the situation that Brahma placed himself into. Brahma's 5th head represented a dangerous falsehood that could contaminate the very way human beings see the world. That deception had to be destroyed. In that sense, the purpose behind the act was pure, but the method he used was violent. Because of this, he incurred the consequence of extreme violence. The severed skull of Brahma got stuck to Kalabhairava's left hand. But Shiva, being who he is, the yogi of the highest order, innovated this skull to use this as a begging bowl because anyway it was stuck to his left hand. He used it as a begging bowl and he had to go through the indignity of eating from this skull for quite some time, making the best use of what is there. Shiva roamed the world as a mendicant, accepting alms but never able to rid himself of this Brahma skull stuck to his left hand. This shows that the noble purpose does not automatically purify the means. If the means are impure, they leave an imprint. According to the legends, Kalabhairava wandered from one sacred city to another, hoping that he will be able to drop off this kapala or this skull which was stuck to his left hand. Finally, Kalabhairava arrived at Kashi, a tower of light in its own right. The moment Shiva set foot within the city's sacred limits, the skull dropped off his hand of its own accord. That spot now is called Kapala Mochana Tirtha, which literally means a place where he got relieved from Kapala or the skull which was stuck to his hand, his left hand. Tirtha essentially means a sacred place where all aspects that are necessary for human liberation are present. So this place became that. Kashi was already that place and now this Kapala Mochana Kshetra or Tirtha also happened. This event also further enhanced the nature of Kashi as supreme among the Tirthas, a place so sacred that even the most terrible of karmic burdens can be dissolved upon entering this Tirtha Kshetra. Kashi is known as the city of light. The word Kashi itself means this, a shining tower of light. One of the rarest of sacred spaces on earth, it was created thousands of years ago, not merely as a place of worship, but as a full-fledged Tirtha Kshetra, a powerful space where human beings could be supported through every dimension of life, from conception, birth, life, varieties of stages of life and death and even beyond. In this lifetime, if you achieved a certain level of liberation within yourself, that is great. But if you did not manage that, Kashi as a place, as a Tirtha Kshetra, offered this possibility. At least at the moment of death, you could attain to a certain level of freedom or liberation. Kalabhairava is regarded as the Kshetrapala of Kashi or the Kotwal of Kashi, the guardian of the sacred space. In the local tradition, he is also called the Kotwal of Kashi, the chief protector and regulator of the city. Kalabhairava does not become Kshetrapala because he is powerful. He becomes the guardian of Kashi because he has passed through the entire journey himself. Action, consequence, needed penance, purification and release. He knows the weight of karma, the terror of time and the doorway of liberation. That is why he can stand at the threshold between life and death. Guarding the city of Kashi, where even the most burdened being may find mukti or ultimate liberation at the end of one's life. In the yogic tradition, calling Kalabhairava the guardian of Kashi does not simply mean he is a mythological or symbolic protector watching over a holy city. A deity is understood in a much more practical and energetic way. Just as human beings create tools to extend their abilities, money to organize life, technology to enhance what we can do in the world, a deity is seen as a consecrated intelligence or energy mechanism, a yantra created to help us access dimensions of life that are normally beyond our reach. As we can see what we cannot see with our naked eye through a telescope, we can hear what we could not hear by ourselves through a telephone. Just like this, all mechanisms that we have created are just enhancement of our present faculties. So, Kalabhairava or any deity for that matter is just enhancement of human capabilities. Kalabhairava is consecrated with a very specific purpose. He is a living force, established to guard the sacred field of a kshetra, meaning a space which is consecrated to assist and oversee the evolution, enhancement and liberation of an individual human being, oversee both the living and the dead, and above all, support the most important moment of transition between life and death. Kalabhairava is said to conduct a unique process known as Bhairavi Yatana. Most people may not live consciously or in a great or liberated way, but almost everyone hopes to die well. The promise of a Tirtha Kshetra is extraordinary. No matter how confused or unconscious your life may have been, if you reached a sacred space which is designed for this purpose, there is still a possibility of liberation or mukti. The word yatana is often misunderstood as suffering or torture, but in this context it is better understood as intensity. In Bhairavi Yatana, at the moment of death, everything you have carried from many lifetimes gets compressed and experienced in the last 40 seconds. It's like you're playing music, maybe music was good or maybe it was bad, but when it is still in the play mode, you press the fast forward. Now there is no good music, bad music, all that happens is ki, but it's intense. If the volume is high, you can't bear it. So this is what a kind of fast forward is. Bhairavi Yatana is a super fast forward. Lifetimes of experiences are just flowing through you in a matter of 40 moments or 40 seconds. Pleasures and pains spread over many lifetimes, just happening intensely for a few moments, is a hard to bear kind of experience, but the fortune is it's brief. Kalabhairava creates such phenomenal pain that nothing of your past remains. Well, some of you are asking, Sadhguru, will the Kalabhairava at the yoga center do the same Bhairavi Yatana? Well, what's your problem? When I'm here, why are you seeking yatana? I will do it to you in a wonderful way. As long as I'm here, at least 80 years beyond that. You don't have to seek yatana. All these deities, temples and the works and mechanisms are being created for people who come beyond next 2 generations. For you, it is not necessary you must go through yatana unless that's your choice. There are some people who think life evolves only with suffering. Well, it's a choice. Kalabhairava is generally in a fierce form. Because you know to do certain things, you must have the right costume. The intensity is necessary to finish what needs to be finished to make sure the past is truly wiped clean. So the significance of Kalabhairava is this: even if you have never lived with awareness, he brings all your focus to a single powerful moment, at the moment of death. If one could not live blissfully, at least one may die in a way that opens the possibility of becoming free beyond this body. Kalabhairava represents this fierce compassion, one that sustains life, but always with the awareness that death is right around the corner. This isn't an idea or a belief or a philosophy, this is how life works. Life and death are intertwined. They are two sides of the same phenomena. Life can seem bright and full, even effervescent, but if you forget that death is always there, lurking in the background, you end up living carelessly or recklessly. Usually, when someone dies, we say, they are gone. But in truth, death is just a transition. Life continues moving from one dimension of life to another, carrying its impressions and karma forward. Death simply means they are no longer present in the way we remember them as a physical form. We remember them as a certain kind of persona. We remember them as a certain kind of thought pattern or emotional patterns. We remember them as good people or nasty people. We remember them as loving or unloving, whatever. But all these are only in your memory. When one dies, they have transited from these aspects of life. For those who can see more deeply, there is just life, endlessly moving from one dimension to another. But Kashi is unique. The tradition says that in Kashi, Kalabhairava's presence changes the rules. Here when you die, it's not just another transition. Instead, Kalabhairava ensures that your journey truly ends. That is, the journey of being an individual life ends to become the larger phenomena of life. From being individual, you become universal. Your accumulated karma is dissolved. The cycles of life, death and rebirth stops. In a powerful kshetra, death really is the end for the individual life form. It becomes a universal force. Kalabhairava, as the master of time, makes sure your clock doesn't simply reset and start over. When your time is up in Kashi, it's truly up. There is no coming back. These days, a lot of people are playing video games. I'm yet to play one. I've met people who create video games, but I haven't played one yet. Maybe when I become very old and again become like a child, maybe I'll start playing a video game, I don't know. But if life gives me that kind of time. But video games, when they play, the screen flashes, game over. In a cosmic sense, that is Kalabhairava's job. That is a Sadhguru's job also. He does it fiercely, I do it gently. He tells you when your game is over. If you are very conscious, you may know it yourself. But if you're not, he will make sure you get the point. Sometimes a gentle reminder is not enough. Something as significant as your life is coming to your close and every cell in your body is aware of it. If you still do not understand, you need something unmistakable knock upon you. This happened. A man who was a businessman, a shopkeeper, was on his deathbed. And he was in and out, moving off into kind of unconscious states and coming back. He came back a little bit to the surface and he asked, "Where is my first son Ramu?" Ramu popped up and said, "Papa, I'm right here." Then he again slipped away. After some time, he surfaced again and he asked, "Where is our second son Somu?" Somu was pressing his feet and he said, "Father, I'm right here with you, I'm pressing your feet, I'm with you." Then he went away again. After some time, he again surfaced into consciousness and he asked, "Where is our third son Bhimu?" He popped up and said, "Papa, I'm right here, I won't leave your side, don't you worry about me, I'm right here." Then he asked, "Who the hell is minding the shop?" So, even though every cell in your body is screaming, the game is getting over. If you are overly attached to simple, ordinary things that you have created and you think you made the whole creation, then you will die in unawareness. So Kalabhairava is fierce. And make sure you wake up in some way. This is why Kalabhairava appears very fierce. He is not fierce because he wants to frighten people unnecessarily. He is fierce because this moment cannot be missed. If Shiva appeared in a gentle way, oh, of course you'll ignore him. You may not even notice him, of course. In southern India, half the men are named after Shiva. 1,000 different names of Shiva. So you may simply walk past Shiva, not even notice he's there. But when Shiva takes the form of Kalabhairava, there is no way of you ignoring him or missing him. For sure, you will have to wake up if such a form appears in front of you. For this job, he has to be in appropriate form. Kalabhairava is that form. In Kashi, as per the tradition, there are Ashtabhairavas or 8 forms of Bhairavas. Each positioned at a different spot throughout the city, forming a protective sacred perimeter. These are the 8 primary manifestations of Bhairava. Each embodies a distinct cosmic power symbolizing control over different aspects of creation and dissolution. Significance of number 8. Number 8 holds deep significance in yogic traditions, in astrology, and also in modern mathematics and in our biology. It is closely associated with Kalabhairava. While some numbers in the yogic science are linked to the specific deities like 3 and 11 for Linga Bhairavi, number 8 is recognized as the number for Kalabhairava. Astrology as a science, if you can call it that, it's more an intuitive process. Number 8 is seen as a number of transformation. In the Vedic aspect of this astrological process, planet Shani or Saturn is connected to number 8. Saturn governs karma, time endurance, discipline, limitation and maturation of life. As people of Indian origin will know what is known as Elara Shani or Sade Sati, which means sometimes you go into a period of misfortune which is supposed to last for over 7.5 years. So 8 is a rounded number for that, so 8 is held as a very important number in astrology. You don't have to really bother about those things, but the important thing is 8. As discussed in the previous episode, visually the number 8 is a powerful symbol. It's a continuity. It's seen as an infinity sign. If you just turn number 8 this way, it becomes the sign of infinity. A loop that when twisted becomes sideways figure for infinity, and when placed upright or when it turns upright, it becomes the discrete number 8. This shape suggests cycles that never end, the continuous flow between material and spiritual realms, whether it is a 0 or the sign of infinity or 8, they all symbolize this cyclical movement, symbolizing karmic cycles, personal growth and evolving journey of life. The loop also represents 0, the absolute. When the loop is twisted, it becomes infinity. Each of the 8 forms of Bhairava manifests in 8 additional forms, giving us a multiple of 64 Bhairavas. Alongside them are 64 yoginis, their feminine counterparts, who represent complementary aspects of energy, consciousness and nature. Together, these 64 Bhairavas and 64 yoginis form a kind of tantric map of reality, capturing both cosmic forces shaping the universe and the subtle energies operating within human consciousness and human mechanism as a physical self. The number 64 repeatedly appears across very different domains of life, science and mathematics. In biology, for example, all known life on Earth is built using the genetic code composed of 64 codons. A codon is a sequence of nucleotides in DNA or RNA that carries instructions for building proteins, the fundamental structures and functions of living organisms. These are the basic building blocks for life on this planet. In other words, the immense diversity of life emerges from combination structure around this number. Even at the very beginning of human life, the pattern shows up. After the egg is fertilized, it begins as a single cell, then divides rapidly 1 to 2, then to 4 and 8, 16, 32 and finally 64 cells. 64 cell stage is a crucial milestone where the cells first begin to differentiate, deciding whether to become part of an actual fetus, which will become a fresh life, or supporting material around that. Beyond biology, 64 is also important in mathematics and in information systems. As everybody who's involved in information technology today knows, in computing, 64-bit architecture became foundational because powers of 2 naturally emerge in binary systems. In mathematics, 64 is 2 to the power of 6, meaning 6 stages of doubling. Starting from 1 unit, repeated doubling quickly produces a field of possibilities. This is why the powers of 2 are foundational in computing binary code, digital memory and information structures, as the fundamentals of our biology also is rooted in that. Or in other words, we are not creating anything new in our life. We are only in some way replicating life. The more closely we observe life, the more we can create, which is lifelike. And from this basis, across various systems in this civilization that we refer to as Bharat or Hindustan, or today as a nation we are called India, 64 appears in many different ways. 64 arts of classical Indian education, 64 squares of Ashtapada or the present-day chessboard, which itself is a cosmological diagram. The 64 tantras and in some lineages, 64 extraordinary siddhis are powers to be attained. So the number 64 appears in various forms. The worship of Kalabhairava is becoming popular these days. For whatever reasons, Kalabhairava as a name, as a sound, as a mantra is appearing in so many places. I hope I am not the culprit that suddenly in the last 6 to 8 months, there is so much mention of Kalabhairava all over the place. Deities experience fluctuating popularity because their worship evolves to meet socio-political, economic and emotional needs of societies across different eras. Kalabhairava, we can say, is the Durandar of our times, someone who is a bit hidden but very competent. He is always hiding within you. Will you realize his presence now or in the last scene as it happened in the movie? In the many crematoriums which we as Isha Foundation conducts or runs or manages, as we see, this is a very important service which needs to be rendered with utmost dedication and devotion. Always there are Kalabhairava images and he has a companion which is a black dog. Why a dog? In many ancient cultures, you will find a dog when it comes to matters related to death. In Greek mythology, in Zoroastrian mythology, the Japanese culture, in ancient Egyptian culture, in many places, the symbolism of dog is present. This is because dog is one animal around us, which naturally has been around human habitations and human societies for a long time, has the capacity to know when a being is beginning to exit the body. In India, when street dogs start howling without any reason, people become jittery because somebody in the street is going to die in the next 24 to 48 hours. This is a very commonly understood thing when people… if there are any sick people in the street, immediately people start taking more care about them because the dogs are howling without any reason. They're looking up and howling, not looking at something, not barking at somebody or something that moves. Looking up and simply howling without reason means they're sensing something, they're sensing death. Because once life starts seeping out of the body, the dog is one animal which responds to it immediately. Probably many other carnivorous animals would do the same, but our experience is more closely related to dogs because dogs have been in human societies. This special ability isn't just folklore. Recently, a startup in Bengaluru in Karnataka state made headlines by using trained dogs to smell with a little help from artificial intelligence to detect cancer early. Patients breathe into your mask to capture their breath, and dogs sniff these samples, and the dog's brain activity is recorded using EEG sensors. This data is processed through the company's artificial intelligence system, and they're seeing over 90% accuracy in detecting cancer at early stages. Incredible, isn't it? Dog as your diagnostics tool. Why are dogs so good at this? It comes down to biology and chemistry of its making. Humans have about 5 million scent receptors in their nostrils. Dogs have up to 300 million scent receptors in their nostrils. Their nostrils are up to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours. Imagine this. A dog's ability to smell is equivalent to us being able to taste a single spoon of sugar dissolved in 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's how powerful their sense of smell is. Well, you know very well, the police forces and the military has been using dogs to trace people. If you sat here for 2 minutes and left, a dog can trace you down even if you're 10 miles away from here. That's incredible sense of smell, so they're able to smell death and disease. Well, these days, we are not using them in that sense. Dog has always been seen as man's best friend because they smelt danger, they smelt any danger or enemy coming their way or wild animals coming their way. But today, Uh, they have also won the hearts of women in the world, so they're really having a good life. It's no more, when you say a dog's life, don't imagine it's a bad life, it's a great life. Even the smallest of changes that happen in one's body, a dog can sense. Even your emotional disturbances, it can sense. I have seen this happening myself, that if somebody is deeply disturbed or in grief, the dogs behave very differently around them. That's why for centuries people have looked to dogs in matters of life and death. On 3rd of March 2026, which was Palguni Paurnami or the Palguni full moon day, we held the Kalabhairava Sthapana as part of consecration process at the Isha Yoga Center in Coimbatore. Kalabhairava serves as the guardian or Kshetrapala of the Kshetra that we are creating there. The Sthapana means to establish. Once Kalabhairava is fully established, the Isha Yoga Center will become a true Tirtha Kshetra. Now, Kalabhairava has been established or Sthapana has happened. This has happened with a certain sacrifice. No animals killed, nothing killed, nothing, just 3 coconuts were broken, that's about it. But we have to sacrifice life in some way to make things happen. No life happens just like that. If one life has to produce another life, if one embodiment of life has to create another embodiment of life, it has to in some way sacrifice a certain amount of its own life energy. So now that Sthapana has happened is for all of you. Every time you go there, if you throw out a little bit of you, he will enhance himself. At the same time, the process of what we call as Kalabhairava, which is a reminder of your ignorance, that you're immortal, you think only other people die, he will cure you of this and bring to enlightenment. So every time you go there, throw something of yourself out so that that space will be filled by Kalabhairava. Sadhana should be done for Kalabhairava. It's not a time to prescribe actual sadhana, but keep this in your mind when you go to Kalabhairava temple at the Isha Yoga Center, you throw yourself out in some way. I know you can't throw yourself fully out. Even if you throw out 1% of who you are, that much of Kalabhairava will manifest within you and begin to grow. As he grows, your ignorance dissolves, as the fundamental ignorance is just this, that we start imagining what we gather as ourselves. Our wealth, our money, our relationships, family, the very body and mind, we gathered all this. Fine, there's no problem, but the problem is you start believing it's you. This ignorance, if it's not dissolved, there is no possibility of any kind of liberation. This is the ultimate freedom. So this can grow in stages within you. So this is the most fundamental thing that you do. You don't have to go there and cut a poor goat's throat. You throw a little bit of yourself out. That's how I created it. Not a little bit, a lot. You throw at least a little bit, it will happen. Well, Kalabhairava, as per the legend, happened when Shiva plucked off the vanity head of Brahma. Don't worry, I am not going to do that to you. I'm not going to pluck your head off, but I will knock on your head a little bit so your mind works in a better way that moves towards liberation, that your mind will not become a process of entanglement. Your mind becomes intelligent enough to seek liberation, not just for you, but for everyone around you. And if you need a little extra motivation, let me knock just a little bit harder, please. Because time, after all, is running out. for all of us. Namaskaram.